Welcome back, you guys. Episode 91 of Zero Carb Journal. I'm Matt. As always, good morning, you guys. How are you? Did you have a good week? Did you make some progress? I bet you did great. So, here I am. I'm home. And welcome back, you guys. I have a lot to share, a lot going on in my head. I'm not sure if I'll get it all clear, but I've been looking forward to this episode. So it's 7, a little after 7 here on a Sunday morning, and I am stoked. I am having a great week, you guys, and making a lot of progress. And let's talk about everything. My trip. So my trip was amazing. Despite my misfortune with my transmission, I just had the most amazing time out there on the road, you guys. It was so nice on so many levels. And so let's see, probably the biggest one was just getting out there and going and meeting new people. So I went, as you guys know, to that sort of gathering of vans, as it were, and it really reminded me of, well, I just felt like I was who I am. I just felt like I was getting back to being me, is what I'm trying to say. It's hard to explain. I don't really know how to start or where to say it. I mean, in the past, I've told you guys this before, but in the past, I spent so many years, and I'll put some photos up, but spent so many years on the road, pursuing waves and snowboarding and all that. And I was, I really grew up throughout my 20s, basically living in my van and traveling all over to chase my activities. And I think I always have felt most comfortable there, in my small little mobile cabin. And I've kind of progressed that concept in terms of my shack where I live now. I realized that when I moved out of my house, what I did was I really just kind of moved back into a small little space without much stuff, and I've worked really hard over the last few years to rid myself of all the stuff I'd accumulated in the prior 10 or 15 years that was really keeping me from being mobile. So there's something about the freedom to roam and having everything I kind of really own and need with me and in a little shell, a little turtle, or snail. There's something about that really appeals to me. So when I got on the road last week or 2 weeks ago, that reinvigoration, or that, feeling that again, that freedom, just makes me feel awesome. But more than that, it was going and hanging out with a bunch of like-minded people who did the same thing. Because I realized on this trip, I used to, my mom could tell you stories because she used to hate it when I did this, at least I think so. But, I would come home from wherever I was for whatever reason I needed to come home, and I would stay home for the minimum amount of time I needed to be home. And by home, I mean, when I was real young, I really didn't, I guess I rented places for like 6 months or whatever, but for the most part, I would just always kind of like leave stuff at my folks' place and really live in my van. But they, you had used their home as my main address or whatever. But at any rate, I'd come back to wherever I needed to be and do some work or whatever reason it was I had to come back for. But then I would just have to pack up and get in my van and leave, as soon as I could. And it was always at odd times because that was, the second I could get away from whatever responsibilities I had wherever I was. So, like I said, my mom will remember, I'd be leaving at like 11 o'clock at night because I'd just gotten off work or whatever and gotten my bus packed. And she'd go, "Why don't you just wait till tomorrow?" And I'd be like, "No, I just gotta go." And it's funny because I remember now, one time, I don't know who said it, was, "Aren't you lonely? You're driving out there by yourself," or whatever. And the thing is I was going to go meet all my friends every time, whether I showed up at the beach, we didn't need to talk. We didn't have cell phones. But I knew that if I went to the beach that night, there'd be a gang of friends there that I could camp out with. And if I went up to the mountain, if I left at 8 o'clock on a Friday night and I drove up to the ski area, there'd be a gang of friends in the parking lot to hang out with. And so I realized that was a big part of of my whole lifestyle, really. It wasn't that I was getting in my van and hiding away in my introverted self, which there's a big part of that too. But when I evaluated it, I was like, oh, that's the main thing, is I just have a place to hide and get away. But that wasn't the main thing. The main thing was I was actually always headed out to social events in a lot of ways, but social events where I could bring my little cave and hide when I needed to. And so, I realized as I was headed down to this event that's what I was looking forward to. I was really looking forward to hanging out with people and doing that in a way that I'm comfortable with, which is with my little shell, my little home with me, so I can climb in there. And importantly about that to Zero Carb Journal is part of that is that security of food security and knowing that I have control over my own food. And then in hindsight, looking back on my whole life and knowing that probably the number one reason why I was attracted to that way of life was honestly bathroom security. I don't think I ever really consciously made that connection, but now I know that a big part of me always wanting to have a van and a safe spot was because I always wanted to be able to use the bathroom. If I was in a car, I was stuck and I had accidents a lot. If I was in a van, I could jump in the back and take care of it with a bag and a bucket or whatever. So that really shaped, my life in a large way, that need to be near a bathroom, that fear of being caught without a bathroom. And so I think all those factors really made me really, I don't know, I gravitated towards that mobile, nomadic life. And still it holds, really, it's where I feel most comfortable, I think. So that's going back to the event, and I'm just going to continue on this theme and then we'll come back to that. But after the event, I left and I was without my car, so I was still in that rental van. And I got to tell you guys, I was just waiting for this transmission repair. But in that time, I think I had 3 or 4 days there, kind of out in the Eastern Oregon desert, as it were. And man, I just had a great time. It was so awesome just to be on the road. I was able to get internet wherever I needed to. I was able to really do all my work. I made a pretty good amount of money over the week while I was gone, selling plans, and I was able to communicate with those people. And it really felt like I could go out on like I can do that kind of over time. So I'm really excited. It really solidified, that whole trip just really solidified kind of like what I've been working towards, and I think kind of what my next step is, because I realized, man, I've been working so hard here to get rid of all this stuff and to get myself free of all of these chores and tasks around the ranch. And I'm in a position now where I can rent the whole place out. I'm in a position now where I can come here when there is boat work and make good money. But then ideally, go back out on the road and not need to stay stuck here when I don't have current jobs. I mean, whether that's a break for a week or a break for a few months, I'm so excited to realize that I can get back out on the road and be connected, take care of all of these things, my YouTube stuff and my internet stuff, and roam around. So I'm really excited about sort of what these last few weeks have brought to my consciousness more than anything. I kind of wasn't really aware. As I've been saying, I just got here, as I've been telling you guys for the last few years. I just sort of arrived to where all my goals have brought me over these last 3 years. Physically I'm healthy, and mentally I'm no longer depressed, and financially I'm not in so much debt, and I don't have so much stuff weighing me down, and just on and on and on. And yeah, I think that I'm finally sort of coming to an awareness of what that means on the day-to-day, that I can actually get back to the life I really have been wanting to live. So excited to sort of settle into having, my ranch and my little shack here and a shop to put my van in, and then hopefully a van to travel around in. So that's just been great. I'm feeling really good, you guys, and that the trip was been incredibly cathartic and so wonderful. So let me just go back a little bit to the event. The event was so fun, you guys. I made so many friends, and it was so nice to meet new people and open up. And like I said, there were all so many like-minded people. I made some wonderful friends. I had just the best time. We didn't really do much of anything. We just sort of hung around and socialized and looked at each other's vans, and but it felt just great. So from a social aspect, that was wonderful. I left there feeling really renewed and like I said, sort of focused on where I am and what's next. So that was great. So let's talk about food. So on my way down there, as you guys know, my car broke, so I lost my cooler, so I didn't have my own beef. I ended up having to throw away quite a bit of my own beef and lamb, which was a bummer, but I didn't want to risk it. So surprisingly enough, as I've found out a couple times now, food was no problem. And you know what, you guys, I've felt great. My energy has been unbelievable these last couple weeks, and now that I'm home, I just have had a huge, I'm really tired because I had a big couple days of working hard on the house, trying to get it ready for new renters. So my energy's been great, and I was actually sort of surprised to find that even with the hardships I faced on the road, I didn't really have great, storage um, capacity, and so I was sort of stuck to the stores. I had to come back every day and get food because I couldn't keep food overnight. But I found I was able to make it out there without too much problem. So what I was doing was I was going to Safeway and just getting frozen burger patties, and 10 of those, a 2-pound pack was about $8, and it was a special they were having, 8 to $12, $12 if it wasn't on special, and frozen, so no prep, and they would last for a while. Like if I was driving, my cooler would stay cool. I had it rigged up so I could do it while I was driving. I just didn't have a way to keep it cool when I shut the car down. So I could get frozen burger patties, go exploring, and then park and cook and eat and be fine until the next day, late in the afternoon. So that worked out well. I added bacon to that quite often, so I would just buy a pack of bacon and a pack of burger patties, and I did that most days. And that's left me feeling really good, actually. I've had tons of energy. I felt great. A little bit of, the normal bacon issues, but I've discovered I don't mind them too much as long as if I go every day in and day out with bacon, it eventually kind of builds up and makes me feel not so good. And I was doing that, but at any rate, it was great. I was really enjoying my food that I cooked and enjoying the cooking process and hanging out by the rivers and doing that. So that was really nice. And then if I didn't cook, I would just go to town, and most of the days I would just go get fast food. And I would just go to, Oregon has a nice fast food restaurant called Burgerville, and I could get their quarter-pound patties plain with a side of bacon for each one. And it wasn't cheap. A meal that it would be about $20 to get about 8 to 12 of those, 20 to $30. And but that would keep me going for the whole day, and I loved it. They're really good. So fast food, and if they didn't have a Burgerville, like on the road a couple times, I ate some McDonald's and some Wendy's. And McDonald's I don't really care for, but it'll keep me alive. So yeah, so that was great. And now I'm back, and boy, I'll tell you, it was really noticeably nice to get back to my own homegrown beef. So I've been eating my burgers and bacon these last couple of days too, and man, I've been feeling good. I'm exhausted. I got home about midnight on Thursday night. They got me out of the dealership right when they closed, just about 6 o'clock on Thursday. So I had a long drive home Thursday night, and I got home Thursday night, and then since then, I have been going full tilt. I've been to the dump 3 times and just trying to get my house down below ready for new renters. And that's really exciting too. That feels really good because I've been sort of agonizing over what I'm going to do and how much work I'm going to do. And in the last couple of days, boy, I've made a ton of progress, and it looks really good down there. So I'm really looking forward to renting the whole place out, not having 2 leases and 2 different renters, and it is bringing a little bit different class of renter to me by renting the whole house out. I've got families wanting to come take a look. So I've got quite a few people interested. It looks like it's going to be no problem, and that's making me feel great. So life's going pretty good, you guys. I'm busy. I've got a ton of work to do over the coming weeks, both getting the house together, and I've got some boat work to do, but my energy's just been amazing. I was actually just thinking about it when I was working yesterday, because I was working so hard on the house. I was like, man, I used to just, have to pace myself, and I'd run down, run out of energy, and I've just been feeling really strong. Now, part of that's probably because I haven't been working out for the most part on that since I left on the trip, and I do tend to use a lot of the energy first thing in the morning when I do work out, so we'll see how that changes once I start up again tomorrow. But I was conscious of the fact that it wasn't too many years ago I wouldn't have been able to sustain the level of output that I'm running at now, and I was noticing how much I was getting done without feeling like I was overdoing it. So, and I was kind of overdoing it. I was real tired at night. But the point is, I was able to do it and get out there and wear myself out without thinking about my diet or my lack of energy or my sickness or anything like that. And that's what I'm commenting on, is the fact that I'm not sick anymore, that I don't have this conscious thing in my head telling me, that to slow down or save some energy. I was really sick a few years ago. So to consciously be aware of not, being well is really nice, really profound. So that's enough. I've rambled at you guys for a while, and I think it's time for me to get on with my Sunday. I'm going to try and do some resting today, kick back and watch some football. Mike, I was just thinking about you because I watched one of your episodes a few weeks ago, right before I left, and it was your one on Cam Newton, and I recognize that you're a big football and a big Carolina fan, so welcome to football season, buddy. I'll try not to rib you too hard. My team is not very good. Alrighty, so I think I'm going to hang out, watch some football, and try and rest. I'm going to go down and do some work on the house for sure, but I'm going to try not to do too much. And I got a big week back to the boat shops. Boy, everyone's knocking at my door. I'm going to have a ton of work in these coming weeks, so that's good stuff. I'm looking forward to having some work in the fall and seeing where that pans out. I'm really looking forward to it because as my schedule develops, I'm sure I'm going to have some breaks, some weeks here in the coming months that don't have boat work, or at least physical boat work. And as I develop my plan here, I'm hoping to head back out on the van for 4 days and stuff, and work from the road and experience a little more of that. So I'll keep you posted as that develops. But at any rate, I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys are making progress. Hope you're staying the course and feeling better than you have been, thanks to the way we're eating. So I cannot thank you guys enough for your support and kind comments. It was so nice on the road to have the thing beep at me next to me and look down and read a comment in response to my videos. It really means a lot to me. So thank you guys very, very much. You guys are making a huge difference in my life. And how amazing this whole journey is, isn't it? I've had numerous comments over the last couple of weeks, people who find out how I eat and then say, oh, maybe that's why you look so good. And other people saying, you're not 50. And coming from where I was 3 years ago, to have people commenting on my health and my youthfulness or whatever has been just amazing. I hope you guys are having the same experience. This zero carb thing is truly been one of the most profound positive experiences in my life, and I just am continually amazed by it. So thanks for letting me share, and thanks for all your support. All right, you guys, that's enough. I've been rambling, so I'm going to get on with my Sunday. Hope you guys have a great day, have a great week, make some progress, and I'll see you next week. All right, you guys, thanks. See ya.